is laid out for special review. Average of 60 per year under Clinton and Bush. Last year alone, President Obama had upwards of 150 of those regulations, and more are coming. We have to understand that this is more than anything else discouraging an economic recovery. The uncertainty of what the government's going to require you to do next, the amount of time that small businesses, who are the economic engine of a recovery, are spending trying to figure out what next the Obama administration is going to do to tell them how to run their business, is destroying the economic recovery. And so what I pledged to do is, on day one, I will repeal every single regulation that costs over $100 million that the President's put in place. I will replace some of them with lower cost regulations, but a lot I'll just get rid of. Like, for example, the Obamacare regulation. And so that's not implemented. I know applauding with gloves on isn't particularly very effective. So you can dispense with the muted applause. Keep your hands in your pocket and stay warm. But I got to tell you that, this is a bold plan that attacks exactly what folks here in New Hampshire are looking for. Someone who's going to look after the little guy. And when I mean the little guy, I mean the small business guy, the worker who wants to provide for their family and finds themselves working jobs that simply don't pay what a manufacturing jobs pay. And we know that here in Nashua and in Manchester and all of these towns in southern New Hampshire that were once bustling industrial towns and now have transformed to a different economy. But still, as you all know, a lot of people left behind. A lot of people left behind. I know this, people say, the Wall Street Journal sort of jammed me, said, Rick Santorum is, we don't like this whole idea of industrial policy. This isn't industrial policy. This isn't picking winners and losers. This is saying that the government has a responsibility to allow businesses in our country to compete with foreign competition, and we shouldn't be the disadvantage. We shouldn't be the ones staying in the way of allowing our businesses to compete. That's what I put together. A final point, and then I'll open it up for questions. This is a job creator, but it's also important for manufacturing, and that's energy. The Obama administration just recently put into effect the regulation that, according to the electric utility industry, will result in shutting down 60 coal-fired power plants in this country. Now, we have a project here in New Hampshire called the Northern Pass. I know it's very controversial, but guess what happens if we're going to shut down 60 coal-fired power plants? We're going to have to get that power up here to New England from somewhere. And all of a sudden, when it happens that when you turn that light on here in Nashua, and that light doesn't go on, all of a sudden people are going to worry less about the environment. You have to understand that we have to have the electric capacity to meet the need of a growing economy. It's not growing much now, but eventually it will, and the energy demands will go up, and we have to have power plants and coal and production, and coal has to be a part of it. As you know, here in New Hampshire, it's a big percentage of the power that you get here in New Hampshire is from that. We can burn it cleanly, but these ridiculously excessive regulations that don't use any kind of realistic cost-benefit analysis is going to destroy the energy industry in this country and destroy our manufacturing base and other businesses by higher cost energy. What I've said is that we need to have an energy policy that is neutral, no subsidies on anything from coal to gas to ethanol to wind to solar. Let the marketplace work, invest in the technology, and invest in the things that will create safe and clean and plentiful energy in our country so we can get energy costs down. And that means, yes, all these alternatives, fine, if the market can hold them. A. B. Drilling for natural gas, because we are building, and it's clean burning, we are building more natural gas power plants. And if you look at the unemployment rate, for example, in Pennsylvania, we have something called Marcellus Shale, which is the second largest natural gas field in the world under Pennsylvania. We're drilling 3,000 to 4,000 wells a year. Unemployment rate in Pennsylvania is lower than anywhere else in the industrial states. Why? Energy production. Energy production, and guess what's happened to the energy costs? Your energy costs. If you heat with natural gas, your energy cost 7 years ago was $12 a unit. It's now $3.60. So while certainly other energy costs like oil, and I know unfortunately about a lot of home heating oil up in this area, have gone up. Why? Because the Obama administration has not allowed for drilling of oil in this country. Shut off ANWR, shut off offshore, shut off deep water drilling for a long period of time. We need to produce energy. And here's the kicker, folks. The idea that somehow or another this is against the environment. Energy is going to be produced because there's a world demand for it. The question is, where is it going to be produced, and who are going to get the jobs, and how are we going to minimize the effect of the environment? There is no country in the world that produces energy cleaner and safer than the United States. And if you really are concerned about the environment, you want the United States to produce all the energy. Why? Because we do it better than everybody else. And so this is not a matter of the environment. This is a matter of national security. This is a matter of economic stability. It's a matter of creating jobs, not just in the energy sector, but in manufacturing and the rest of our economy. With that, let me stop and say thank you very much. I appreciate you coming out here on this very warm New Hampshire January day, and I'll be happy to